Hello everyone, I'm Ritu Mehta. I lead investor relations for Tanla Platforms. I hope you and your families are safe and healthy. On behalf of everyone at Tanla, I would like you to welcome to our analyst and investor meet. We are very excited to share with you our vision, strategy and financial overview. This evening, the event will start with Uday Reddy, our chairman and CEO. He will provide an overview of Tanla's achievement, our innovation-led strategy and our vision, followed by Deepak Goel, our Chief Business Officer and Executive Director, who will walk us through on what makes us the trusted communication partner for large enterprises. Finally, we'll have Arvind Vishwanathan, our CFO, who will provide an overview of our financials and company's ESG initiatives. Before I hand it over to Uday, let me draw your attention to the fact that this presentation contains statements that are forward-looking in nature. All statements other than the statements of historical fact could be deemed forward-looking in nature. Such statements are inherently subject to risk and uncertainties, some of which cannot be predicted or quantified. Further, the CPaaS business is evolving at a fast pace in India, with very little information available in the public domain on overall market. The financial community has always sought a response on the total market size, key drivers of the industry and competitive landscape in this space. In order to provide more transparency and to help understand a business better, we are providing indicative data around the market size and a relative share, assuming this indicative data. This indicative data has been arrived at basis our detailed internal analysis. This is being done with an intent to provide an indicative picture of industry and address queries about the CPaaS. This must not be seen as positioning statement of the company, and one should not rely on company's disclosure for their assessment of market size. The presentation that is being shared will be uploaded in the investor section of our website. Audio video recording and transcript will be available on the website soon. Now, over to Uday, our chairman and CEO of Tanla.
Thank you, Ritu. Hello. Very warm welcome to all of you. I see a massive participation from India and around the world. Thank you for your time. I'm absolutely excited speaking with you live from our corporate office in Hyderabad. These are difficult times. We have been in this pandemic for a while now, and I want to give you my sincere wishes to everyone across the globe. I'm sure that the better days are ahead for all of us. Today, I will provide you with an update on Tanla's achievements, innovation-led strategy, and our vision. Deepak, Arvind and I look forward to taking your questions after the presentations. You will see that our acceleration is shaping our belief in this remarkable growth story called Tanla. Digitalization is the opportunity of this generation. We will see high adoption of CPaaS across enterprises as they move towards digital transformation. There has been increased investments in CPaaS, and this is amongst the hottest segments for consolidation and capital. Tanla is perfectly poised to leverage the opportunities coming our way. This is a tangible demonstration of the strong unit economics within our business, and it showcases the durability of the business model. So the question is, what really drives our performance? We are focused on innovation, and our unique business model enables us to engage entire CPaaS ecosystem across telcos, enterprises, and regulators. In terms of Tanla's growth trajectory, we have built an unprecedented innovation engine. Let us demystify CPaaS. I want to walk you through a real-world example of how Tanla has a role to play across the ecosystem. Let's roll.
Let us take the example of Anand, who is hungry and would like to order lunch through one of the food delivery apps. As Anand is browsing for restaurants and dishes, Our Gamuga AI technologies, which are integrated in the app, first tries to understand what Anand is looking for. Based on his history and likings, we are able to recommend a choice of restaurants with his favorite cuisine offering a deal. We help the user make an informed decision. Once Anand confirms his order, a communication workflow is kicked off by invoking Carrix APIs. Now the workflow moves to Carrix messaging platform where multiple channels for communication are made available. In this example, let's say the preferred mode of communication is SMS. Carrix will accept the message from the app and push it, ensuring it chooses the best route for delivery as requested by the app. Carrix also opens up a conversational platform between the user and the app for any requests or need of two-way communication. The next stage is where the message is scrubbed for spam and fraud and confirms the sender details in the DLT platform. Only on positive validation in TrueBlock, the message moves to the last leg. The message is now transmitted to the SMSC located at the telco edge, from where the same is transmitted to the user's handset. As you can see, there are 4 clear touch points in the CPaaS ecosystem. Tanla has a role to play in each one of them and add value across the ecosystem.
As you can see from this example, communication is now intelligent and both data and communications go hand in hand. Tanla is the only company to have a play in every touch point of the CPaaS ecosystem. CPaaS or communication platform as a service offering is leveraged by the enterprises to communicate and engage with their customers through multiple channels. There is an imperative need to build trust and retain customers. We all experience this in our everyday lives. Tanla is now participating in a TAM of $800 million. According to the Gartner, the global TAM for CPaaS is set to move from $20 billion in 2020 to $47 billion by 2023. It also states that 90% of the enterprises globally will adopt CPaaS by 2023. Tanla generates all of its revenues from India, and being the market leader, we are excited about the global opportunity that is ahead of us. Tanla is the undisputed CPaaS market leader in India. The question is, what got us here? I will sum it up in 2 words: acquisitions and innovations. 2 largest players in the CPaaS industry, Tanla and Carrix, joined hands and became the undisputed market leader, serving the complete CPaaS ecosystem from enterprises to telcos. We are building products faster than ever, from ideas to launch. We have an outstanding track record of commercializing new innovations. We launched 2 massive platforms back to back within a year with successful adoption. I know the number 1 position is very slippery and we don't take anything for granted. Our platforms are deployed with the key telcos for many years. We have built domain knowledge and deep understanding of customer needs like scale and quality of service. Many of the one-time password messages, which are time sensitive, are delivered through our platform. And this is a testimony for our quality of services. Most of the global tech giants use our international long-distance platform to deliver critical communication to their users in India. Indian telecom regulator, TRAI, came with the first of its kind regulation to curb spam and fraud and raise the bar for international regulators. Tanla successfully deployed its DLT platform with 5 out of 7 telcos in India to comply with regulations. More than 33,000 enterprises in India are using Trubloq to improve their customer experience. UAE came with similar regulation and both the telcos are deploying Trubloq. Deepak is going to give you the details, but here is my quick preview. Karix is the largest enterprise solution provider for nearly 2 decades. The best and the biggest brands and the Government of India place their trust in us to engage with their customers and citizens. We have beaten almost every financial metric out of the park and raised the bar for our competitors. Let me pause to let these numbers sink in. We have grown faster than industry, and we have done it with best-in-class margin and free cash flow profile. Tanla's current cash flow margin is equivalent to many companies' long-term, often aspirational margin targets. Last year, Tanla was the best performing stock and got listed in 4 indices. Our domain expertise and unwavering focus on the communication industry for 2 decades have helped us gain customer trust and business. A big thank you to my team and customers who are part of this successful journey. My team is just fired up to be the fastest growing CPaaS company at scale in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a platform company. We are just getting started, and here is how we are going to go even further. Our path forward is clear: to have a one platform strategy. Wisely, the enterprise grade platform was built along with Microsoft. This platform is built for the entire CPaaS ecosystem. A next generation suite of solutions is built on Wisely platform for most industries and verticals. The flexibility and extensibility of this platform is our differentiator. Every opportunity we have now is multi-product, which gives us a big upsell and cross-sell effect from core to the edge and edge to the core. Unlike any other company, this is not a case going head to head with a legacy vendor to rip and replace. In fact, we are lowering the competitive friction. Tanla will go after greenfield opportunities and create a niche for itself in the market. We are not here for linear thinking. We are here for large opportunities. We are a growth company and not to compromise our margins. We will invest for global expansion to offer our solutions to existing and new customers. We will look for bolt-on acquisitions to strengthen our one platform offerings. In closing, there are a lot of ways and means to value a platform company. But here is my view. Look at the way the customers are using our platforms to build their use cases. Look at what went behind. Look at the millions of vaccinated people around the country on our platform. Or look at the reduction in spam and fraud for billions of mobile users in India. Or look at how our AI platform helps millions of users discover new food options and having a delightful ordering experience. We would like to measure ourselves and our platform usage by how many lives are improved through its use. We're extremely honored to be someone behind the scenes for the billions of people we serve, our customers. Thank you for your time. I am looking forward to taking your questions a little bit later. But for now, I would like to turn it over to our Chief Business Officer, Mr. Deepak Goyal. Over to you, Deepak.
Thank you, Uday. Firstly, I would like to extend my wishes and greetings to all of you who have joined us for this meet today. Continuing to talk about our journey after an apt introduction by Uday, I would now like to take you to deeper into our story with a specific focus on our enterprise business. Here I will cover how and what makes us the trusted communication partner of large enterprises to high potential startups. We have transformed the way enterprises communicate with their customers for almost 2 decades now. Our solid pedigree and extensive domain expertise have made us the undisputed leaders in the CPaaS market space. So what is it that truly defines a solid business? It is a combination of leadership, strengths, and relationships that enable the business to continue generating greater value for its customers. Let us start with leadership. Our market share at over 30% in the enterprise business is larger than our next 3 competitors combined. And our status as a leader is driven by broad-based success. In every vertical, 7 to 9 of the top 10 companies are our customers. We have sticky relationships with our customers with deep integrations. Over 60% of our revenue comes from 50 of our top 100 customers who have been with us for more than 5 years. And we have added more than 250 new customers in FY21. Now, what does this leadership translate into? Customer confidence that translates into an impressive list of references that makes us signing new deals much easier. Ability to form existing accounts and create deeper and broader customer relationships that are quite tough for the competitors to breach. Our business is very well diversified, and today we serve most of the top enterprises across verticals. In other words, our leadership acts as a powerful lever of creating customer value across the length and the breadth of the industries that our customers represent. This depth of leadership has also given us fantastic domain insights across industries that help us innovate domain-specific solutions. This is a virtuous cycle of leadership driving our increasing dominance across sectors. You should now be wondering what has driven India's leading businesses to partner with us. If I say in one line, we are uniquely positioned to help businesses succeed by powering their entire customer journey at every touch point. In today's fast evolving digital landscape, big or small, an enterprise succeeds when it acquires new customers, transacts with them, can retain them, and provide service support where needed. At every stage, we are a key partner to help drive better outcomes. Let me illustrate this with an example. Let us take a bank offering a loan product and wants to communicate its promotional offers to prospects. But how do they reach out to potential customers? This is where we come in. We will help the bank devise a multi-channel promotional strategy with the right mix and choice of channels, from SMS, email, OTT, and voice to social media channels like ads on Facebook. Once a prospect begins to engage with the bank's promotion for a loan, we bring in AI-based marketing automation tools to help and prompt the customer to choose the right products. Once the choice is made, we also automate the entire customer onboarding process. It is nothing like the complicated processes of the past. Do you remember how cumbersome it was to open a bank account or a Demat account a few years ago? The number of signatures and supporting documents that were needed. With our conversational platform, we enable customers to onboard seamlessly from their preferred channel of communication, hence creating a 100% digital experience without the need for a branch visit or a submission of any physical documents. Once onboarded, the bank can even enable verification and authentication for ongoing EMIs and payments. If the customer is in a remote location where SMS delivery rates are low, we can enable a retry mechanism with a voice OTP. The bank can also engage with customers to cross-sell and upsell and service the customers in an ongoing manner. And finally, if a customer is facing any issues, then a support request can be initiated through WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, and an AI-powered chatbot can be triggered to provide a quick resolution. We bring to our customers the power to leverage unmatched scale, choice of channels, intelligence, and use cases in such a comprehensive manner that it makes us the number one choice for enterprises. Banking is a demanding industry, and banks have been pioneers in adopting technology for transformative efforts. We were the first in India to launch mobile banking services way back in 2002 with ICICI Bank. We started with basic transactions notifications on mobile phones to the bank's customers to reduce the load on the bank's call centers and branches. ICICI Bank was just the beginning. Since then, we have come a long way. Today, nearly 20 years on, with a major market share, we are partnering with leading banks like SDFC Bank, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, and State Bank of India for more than a decade. We provide right from account-related notifications to critical OTPs to advanced services like conversational automation banking and automated account opening. We created personalized conversational pages with content that customers could interact with when they open a secure link sent via SMS. Banks saw an increased conversion rate of 12%. For Axis Bank, we designed a two-way messaging solution for customers on SMS where they could simply fill a form for loans or request a credit card and a conversational messaging UI that is fully integrated with the bank's backend systems. The solution enabled end-to-end processing of loans without any other manual step from the bank's back office. We use data to personalize content for a leading private sector bank and retarget users who abandon the journey after visiting the website for various products. The personalized content is delivered via SMS and email to nudge them to sign up for the loan, card, insurance, or bank accounts using various acquisition campaigns. From running the largest customer acquisition program for a leading private sector bank's entire product portfolio and servicing multiple processes for over a decade to facilitating account opening or WhatsApp, we have done it all. Moving on, let's look at a highly dynamic industry, the e-commerce industry. All of us are interacting with one or more e-commerce brands throughout the day. It will not be wrong to say that they have become an integral part of our day-to-day lives. But it is also interesting to know many complex workflows and integrations that go behind enabling a seemingly simple process like an order delivery. From getting your food orders tracked, essentials delivered, to setting alerts for new releases and updates, there is a back-end network of tech-based activities that get activated with just a click of a button on your end. This industry essentially depends on the high velocity of communications and scale, and we deliver on both the fronts. For example, we partner with one of the largest e-commerce marketplaces to amplify their customer reach for the Big Billion Sale and create customer awareness about the specific discount period. While they use traditional marketing methods, it would be difficult to break through the advertising clutter. With SMS, customers receive these offers on their mobile phones with links to the app or website. To give you another use case, a leading food delivery app uses our platform to process more than 70 million push app notifications every day to users for various meal offers, right from breakfast, lunch, snacks, and dinner. Many other such e-commerce marketplaces use our services by integrating SMS, email, and WhatsApp into their e-com applications. One of the key factors when integrating SMS APIs for online customer purchase is the speed at which online retailers want to reach out to the customers for failed transactions. One of the most critical use cases for growth is completing the abandoned cart and payment failure communication during checkout. We facilitate this communication with the least latency so that end user complete their transaction without any opportunity loss. We work with the leading brands for omni-channel communication using email, SMS, in-app notifications to enable marketing teams to get consumer attention when they abandon search and for other category affinity campaigns. E-com customers are using our SMS APIs to keep their customers updated in real time about price drop or auto-stock alerts based on preferences set up by their users. Our value to brands lies in helping them to provide a seamless and rich experience to their end customers. We have digitized processes like appointment booking, order tracking, OTP authentications, retrieving information on demand. Thus, it also enables brands to expand and deepen their customer relationships by building loyalty programs and upselling and cross-selling efforts. Now, let's talk about an intriguing one. EdTech has produced more unicorns in the shortest period than any other vertical in the world. The reason being that India has one of the largest population of youth under the age of 25, and as the second largest user of smartphones in the world, new and emerging verticals like EdTech have changed the way world experiences learning and education. We have seen huge success with one of the India's largest EdTech companies. We had a key role to play in their domestic and international growth. Apart from social ads, SMS has been one of their key channels to invite students and parents for trial classes. In the wake of the pandemic, all EdTech companies accelerated the adoption of SMS, email, and WhatsApp notifications to communicate with the students and parents. We send automatic notifications to parents about their child's absence from classes, and at the same time send progress reports as PDFs via SMS links. Notifications about class schedules, allowing students to reschedule their classes via interactive SMS, sharing doubts, and parents providing feedback. Our communication APIs power it all. We have managed to continue innovating our offering to suit the market's needs in a very short period. This positions us to expect a huge share of revenue coming from these new and emerging verticals. And lastly, let us talk about a vertical which we are exceptionally proud of, the work we do for the Government of India. Ours is the most populous and complex democracy in the world, and we take immense pride in our role in enabling the Indian government in its Digital India efforts to reach, engage, empower, and interact with the Indian citizens. The Government of India depends on the National Informatics Center, or we call it NIC, to fulfill its communication needs and manage the world's largest citizen outreach programs. And NIC trusts us to power the critical workflows that make this happen. We ensure that important messages from the government reach citizens in their choice of language. This includes long-form audio like Mann Ki Baat, providing regular agriculture-related updates to farmers in multiple Indian languages, and providing authentication and verification support to many departments, including the GSTN, Aadhaar, and the Income Tax Department. We are the ones who deliver the messages you receive after filing your income tax or the reminders to pay your advance tax. Over the last 12 to 15 months, Government of India has done a lot of work to save the lives from deadly COVID-19. We enable authentications for Arogya Setu app as well as CoWIN app through OTPs to schedule vaccine appointments and later on vaccination notifications from National Health Portal. The government also uses our platform to drive awareness related to COVID, safety measures, details on the lockdown schedules, and much more. Our organic growth is driven by our land and expand strategy. Our sales teams focus on finding business needs with potential customers that can be solved by one of our solutions. This could be a growth-related need, efficiency-related need, or problem-related, example, helping reduce the wait time for a support request. Once we win the account, we expand our presence either by replicating the same solution to address different use cases, or we cross-sell and upsell products that can deliver better business outcomes for our customers. As an organization, we see the first sale as merely the first step in our customer engagement. Our real work begins after we sign the first contract. The expand leg of our strategy is extremely important to us as they represent wins that are low cost, that come with a higher probability of sales success. So how can you say that we are winning? There are 4 evidences that are testimony to our continuing success. First, we are continuously expanding our customer base. Second, our customer engagements are extremely sticky. Our retention rate is exceptionally high, and our relationship grows broader and deeper every year. Third, we are reducing our dependence on a handful of very large customers, de-risking our revenue stream. And finally, we are expanding our presence across industries. This not only improves our cross-industry experience, but also protects the business from industry-specific downturns. But don't just take my word for it, let's look at the data. We have always made new customer acquisition a key priority, but what is unique about our success is that average deal size has also grown. Powered by our best-in-class capabilities, innovative solutions, and track record, new customers are happy to trust us with larger contracts. As you can see, our revenues from new customers added in the last 4 years have grown at a CAGR of 68% to 952 million in 2020-21. As our new customers experience our capabilities and the business results we deliver, they are eager to expand the existing scope of work and explore other solutions we have to offer. We continuously engage with our customers to provide solutions to improve their customer engagement experience. As you can see, over the last 4 years, we have witnessed a CAGR of 31% from our customers generating revenue of more than rupees 10 million. This is an excellent proof point of the confidence that our customers have in us. Our land and expand strategy drives growth across customer cohorts. Customer success drives a low attrition rate. Our ability to offer multi-product deals are increasing customer stickiness. We continuously strive to improve and deliver the best results for our customers. The highlight of this graph is the revenue growth CAGR of 45% in very large customer accounts. This growth is a testament to the real-life strength of our proposition and the satisfaction that we have delivered to our customers. We are also growing across all customer segments. You can see how our customer base is getting increasingly robust, with 149 customers contributing an annual revenue of over 10 million rupees. You can also see the success we have had in closing and growing our very large accounts. These customers' yearly revenues are over 500 million rupees. I love this graph, as it also shows how low risk our revenues are. We are not dependent on any one account type, as our revenues are well distributed across multiple customer relationship types. And once they become our customer, we continue to grow. A key driver of our growth is our success in expanding customer relationships. Our sales teams are primed to look out for customer business areas that our services can improve and seek out adjacent opportunities that can be positioned and won with ease. You can see how the revenues have grown at a CAGR of 19% for customers landed in 2016-17 and prior. The customers acquired in 17-18 have grown at a CAGR of 254% and so on. To conclude, our success going forward will be driven by 4 levers that you see here. First, our innovative and unique platforms. From web apps to chatbots, our platforms are a result of many years of effort. They are beautifully aligned to deliver business results for our customers and are not easily replicable by competition. Our platforms will continue to be a critical success factor in our success going forward, and we will continue to invest in these capabilities. Second, our domain-led solutions. We are not in the business of just delivering messages. We are a true partner that delivers business results and business outcomes. That means our solutions will be positioned relevant to our customers' business, value chain, and related complexities. The third is our expanding client footprint. As we have seen, we have an undying hunger for sales success. We will continue to expand our customer acquisition efforts across 3 dimensions: new verticals, new customer logos, and new opportunities in existing accounts. Our funnel will continue to remain healthy while providing the business with high quality, low risk revenues. The last lever is our strong growth in Indian and global market. With this, let us hear from our esteemed customers on how their experience has been in partnering with us. I welcome Ankur Tripathi, CIO of AU Bank, to this meeting. Hi Ankur, it is such a pleasure to have this discussion with you today. We are very pleased to be a partner in your growth journey and would like to hear from you on how you have managed to turn the COVID crisis into an opportunity to go more digital and create seamless omnichannel experience. You have personally also been at the forefront of massive digital expansion of AU Bank. So what's your strategy to use multiple channels like SMS, email, voice, WhatsApp, etc. to help your customers transact with the bank and deepen your customer engagement?
Good morning, Deepak. Good to be here. It is always a pleasure to interact with a team who is young, agile. We've been working with Karix for good last 3 years or so, and we enjoy that experience. As you rightly mentioned about digital transformations and omni-channel experience, we've been pushing our teams and deriving the strategy of building a omni-channel experience, be it transaction or conversations or engagement. In our initiative, we have rolled out our new super app, which is AU0101 recently. It is having capabilities for both bank customers as well as new to bank customers, where they can do some kind of banking transactions and lifestyle transactions using our mobile app, and all new to bank customers can use that channel to get onboarded seamlessly, using our video banking platform. We also have invested a lot on our WhatsApp as well as SMS and email channels. For that, Karix is our partner. With Karix, we had launched our industry first initiative of onboarding savings account using WhatsApp bot. This was an industry first initiative that we had launched about 2 years back, and we had seen a good response from our customers in terms of opening an account, and largely for our millennial population and digitally native population who don't want to use the app and be on any of the conversation chat platforms like WhatsApp or Instagram. So it has been great working with the team, and we are evolving on multiple use cases that we can invest together and bring up multiple use cases for our customers on various channel specific platforms, as well as create an omni-channel experience.
As we get into the next phase of growth via new acquisitions and building a highly engaged customer base, what role do you see Karix playing in transforming the way you serve your customers and engage with your customers?
So, Deepak, we have been working on a great many use cases with Karix, primarily on WhatsApp platform and your upgraded SMS platform. For WhatsApp, it has been incremental growth. We have been able to roll out close to 12 use cases, which are largely service request driven. Going forward, we want to make it omni-channel, where customers can initiate a conversation on a WhatsApp platform and then continue to finish that conversation either on our mobile banking or our voice call center, or let's say a chatbot that we have on our website. That is something that we would like to build. In addition to that, we would also be open to explore some kind of financial transactions on our WhatsApp platform. This would enable us offering end-to-end functionalities to our customers who are not very comfortable in terms of using mobile app or internet banking platform, but for some smaller transaction they've been using WhatsApp day in day out and are very comfortable using that platform. Secondly, I've seen your SMS platform, which is Wisely, and architecture wise and design wise, it is hitting the right chords in terms of offering end-to-end encryption and security, which is paramount in the digital ecosystem or the digital world that we are heading into. And we as a bank would like to explore it further and roll it out for all our banking customers for whom we send out SMS notification either over SMS or email, and it is end-to-end encrypted.
Ankur, you are talking about our newly launched platform Wisely. I'm thrilled to know that you like the platform. It will help the bank keep customer data private and communicate with the customers in a secure way. We hope to see deployment soon at AU Bank. Thanks for the insights, Ankur. I'm glad to hear that Karix team is working with you and other technology partners to address all your communication needs. My team is very lucky to work with you and your team and innovating to drive better customer experiences. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Deepak. Thanks again for having me here. Thank you.
We are honored to be in business with some of the most groundbreaking enterprises across all major industries. These industries are not just redefining the way consumers experience a brand and its services, but are also quick to adapt to changing market needs and adopting transformative business processes. Nykaa has been one such strategic and esteemed customer for us since 2015, and today I'm pleased to be in conversation with Shreya Roy, who is AVP Head CRM and Loyalty for Nykaa. Welcome, Shreya, and thank you for giving us your valuable time. What are the top priorities for Nykaa when it comes to the role of technology in customer service and experience?
So personalization, that's of course a no-brainer, and I think every other e-commerce in the industry is also doing that. For us, what personalization means is from the context of beauty, which is a far more subjective, subjective understanding of the consumer, and then basically being able to translate those subjective sort of behaviors into objective parameters by which we retarget users.
Other than marketing automation, what other use cases does Nykaa solve with solutions provided by Tanla Group?
Other services that we've been using is definitely Karix. We, of course, started using Karix before it became part of Tanla. And we are using them for all of our promotional SMS journeys and all the promotional pushes and everything innovative that they have to offer to us. So we've been using them in the whole umbrella of Tanla services. Another major thing was that we did a lot of hyper-local sort of supply chain transformative activities, which again, we were able to push majorly through the kind of identification of customers that we had from Gamooga. And of course, Karix was used, again, Karix was the easiest form of communication, right? This was a time when people were not finding benefit in a lot of apps and deleting apps left, right, and center. And through SMS as a channel, we could actually reach out to our customers, keep them engaged, and keep them coming back.
What has your overall experience with Gamooga and Karix been like?
I think with Gamooga, I mean, I actually treat these separately because with Gamooga, the experience, has been very, very high on innovation, has been very, very good in terms of the service and the sort of connect and the contact that you guys have given to us, because you guys have actually taught us the platform, and basis our understanding of it, have we been able to generate and build on ideas till we could stand on our own 2 feet. So I think Gamooga is a far more old. We've been using it for a much, much longer time, and we have a deeper relationship there with Gamooga. With Karix, well, it's new. It's newer, not new, but it's newer. It's been about 3.5, 4 years now. Again, service-wise, great. What they do in terms of being able, what they do in terms of reachability, what they do in terms of providing us access to some of the hacks in sort of SMS marketing is something that we've never got earlier from any other service provider. So overall, the experience has been great.
Thanks, Shreya. It's been really wonderful to be in conversation with you, and thanks for sharing your overall experience with us. Looking forward to solve more of your marketing challenges and implementing many more interesting use cases with Nykaa. Thank you.
Same here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankur and Shreya. Now I'd like to hand over to our CFO, Arvind, to take it forward.
Thank you, Deepak, and good evening to all of you who have joined us for our analyst and investor meet. Hope all of you and your loved ones are safe in these testing times. I joined Tanla around 2 months ago. My early impressions are that we are a company with innovation in our DNA, hungry for growth backed by financial discipline, and an ambition to create a sustainable global company with best-in-class governance. I'm personally very, very excited to be part of this journey with our leadership team in the CPaaS space. As Uday and Deepak talked about in great detail, we are on a strong trajectory across multiple dimensions. We've delivered very robust financial performance, and I will take you through the same in detail. To me, financial performance is an outcome of having a compelling business model and backing that with focused execution. And that's exactly what we have done. Our operating model and focus on quality of revenues have also helped us achieve this growth on the back of very strong cash flow generation. As we accelerate forward, we want to do this journey with best-in-class governance. Governance is the bedrock for sustainable value creation, and we are passionate about this, and we have made this a way of life in Tanla. Let me now start with our financial overview. Moving to revenues, we delivered 42% CAGR revenue growth over the past 5 years. Our revenues have grown 4x in 5 years. How did we deliver this? As said by Uday earlier, we identified market opportunities early to address the entire ecosystem, which led us to acquire Karix and Gamoga, creating a unique organization with clear leadership in the CPaaS space in India. Deepak talked about our client relationships, and we've been able to drive growth across our client base. We've done a very, very good job on all facets here, be it in terms of acquiring new clients, scaling them up through a cross-sell and upsell, or selling new services to them altogether. In parallel, we have continued on our innovation journey to launch new products like Trubloq and Wisely and created new avenues for growth. Our focused efforts and strategies have resulted in having multiple revenue streams across the ecosystem for the same transaction. This is something which is very unique to Tanla in this space. Uday and Deepak talked about our ecosystem play, and you will hear a lot about it from us. Our ability to address different touch points in the ecosystem has helped us drive high growth momentum and gives us confidence that we are well positioned to maximize the opportunity in front of us. Our revenue has been backed by strong growth in profitability. We delivered 62% CAGR in gross margin growth over the past 5 years. Profitable growth is very core to Tanla, and Uday mentioned this in his opening remarks. We have driven gross margin improvement in the enterprise business by offering value-added services to our customers. Our solutioning capability is a huge differentiator. Deepak talked about it in great detail and gave multiple examples on this with live client experiences. And this is a key lever to drive profitability in the enterprise space. Another very interesting dimension to our gross margin is our focus on platform business. Our platform business operates at very high gross margins. I would say indicatively upwards of 85%. We've augmented our traditional platform business with new platforms like Trubloq, and this is changing our gross margin profile. Uday talked about Wisely and our one platform strategy. Wisely was launched earlier this year. Our focus is to scale Wisely, and this is going to be a big competitive advantage for us. We are confident that Wisely will help us win more business and will be the beachhead for our global ambitions. This will help us further scale the contribution of gross margins from our platform business in the coming years. Now, we talked about platform business. Let's look at some numbers. Platform business contribution to our gross profits have gone up from 20% in FY20 to 24% in FY21. The gross profits for platform business grew 80% YOY. We're very excited about our platform business, and it complements our enterprise business to create value for our clients and ourselves. Once again, we benefit from the end-to-end ecosystem play. Moving on to EBITDA, our revenue growth has been backed by disciplined execution, resulting in significant EBITDA margin expansion. This is a source of great pride to us. We've generated unmatched growth and profitability at scale. We delivered 67% CAGR EBITDA growth over the past 5 years and improved our EBITDA margin percentages to 19% in FY21 from historic levels of around 10%. Our accelerated growth has allowed us the benefit of SG&A leverage without compromising our need for investments. We are making all necessary investments across all dimensions, be it products, be it customer success, and our people, to ensure we maximize the opportunity ahead of us. To attract the best talent, we have come up with an RSQ scheme with 3 million shares, which has been approved by our shareholders. We will use this very judiciously over a period of time to ensure we become an employer of choice without structurally diluting our profitability. Our revenue growth, coupled with focus on profitability, has helped our net income grow 72% CAGR over the past 5 years. A small milestone, we delivered rupees 1 billion quarterly net income in Q4, crossing the 1 billion mark for the first time. Revenue growth and profitability needs to be backed by strong cash flow. And I'm happy with our performance on cash flows. We have generated around 5.6 billion operating cash flow in FY21. And our operating cash flow has grown 67% CAGR over the past 5 years. We also have a very healthy cash conversion. Our operating cash flow to EBITDA conversion is very strong at 129%. How does this happen? This is due to our relentless focus on our collection process. Our bill DSO is sub 60 days. Our unbilled revenues is usually around 11% of our annual revenues, which largely constitutes 1 month billing, and we bill most of our unbilled within 30 days. All of the above has resulted in a very, very strong balance sheet. Our reserves and surplus are close to rupees 9 billion. As of March 31st, 2021, our cash balance is 5.8 billion rupees. This is, mind you, after the outflow due to buyback and the interim dividend that we declared of close to rupees 1.8 billion during the year. We have returned significant cash to shareholders during the year. We have also declared a final dividend of 100% of our face value, which is subject to shareholders' approval in the AGM. Our return on capital employed, excluding cash, is 129%, which reflects the asset-light model that we operate on. Our net working capital, excluding cash, was negative as of year-end balance sheet date. We are a zero-debt company. All of our growth has been funded from internal accruals, and this is something that we're very proud of. So if I summarize the financial performance, we've done very well in every parameter. This is very much by design, as we have looked at our business holistically to drive all parameters. Our focus is profitable revenue growth backed by strong cash flows, resulting in a strong balance sheet. As I mentioned in the beginning, we are focused on ensuring our business model delivering strong sustainable growth is backed by the highest standards of governance. Let me re-emphasize this. Over the past few years, we have strengthened our board of directors and are benefiting from the vast experience of our board members. In addition to this, we have enhanced the partners we work with. All our auditors, be it our statutory auditor, internal auditor, or our pre-auditors, are large global firms, and we work together to ensure our governance standards continuously scale up to global levels. We realize in the current environment, the calling for corporates is to do a lot more. Therefore, we are looking at this more holistically with focus on ESG. Earlier this year, we constituted an ESG council headed by Rahul Khanna, our independent director. And this is a very big focus area for us. We focus on areas where we can have the greatest impact, which includes environmental sustainability, equal opportunity, and integrity in conduct and transparency across all the work we do. Uday mentioned this, we aim to be carbon neutral by 2025. It's a big task. We've been focused on greenery over a decade now, and we have a target to plant 25,000 trees in the next 2 years. We plan to come out with a detailed sustainability report this year. We want to create equal opportunity for workforce with focus on skill development, diversity and inclusion, and community development, all of which is very close to our heart. We wish to empower our future generation with the skills needed to effect the change within their communities. We have multiple social initiatives around education in schools, and you will hear more about that in the days to come. Finally, we strongly believe in integrating governance, risk, and compliance into our business model. If you really look at it, TrueBlock is a GRC platform. We want to build an environment of trust through ethical, transparent, and secure business practices in the way we deal with external and internal stakeholders. In summary, we have had a very strong trajectory of financial performance. As we look forward, we continue to be committed to drive sustainable, predictable, and profitable growth. Innovation is very core to our DNA, and we will make disciplined investments to create differentiation in the marketplace. We have global ambitions. Uday talked about it, Deepak talked about it, and our intent really is to replicate our India success story to the overseas markets. We will do that maintaining a strong balance sheet and be very focused on our ESG journey. We are confident we will create sustainable value for all our stakeholders in the years to come. Thank you all, and I will now hand it over to Ritu for the Q&A session.
Thank you, Uday, Deepak, and Arvind for providing very interesting insights. Also, thanks to our customer, Ankur and Shreya, for participating and providing their insights. We will now break for 5 minutes and regroup for Q&A. Those of you who wish to ask questions, please type your questions in the chat window, which is available below on the screen. Hello everyone and welcome back. We'll start our Q&A. We've got quite a few questions. As a reminder, if you have any questions, please type the question in the chat window. Our first question is from Khush Virani of Incred. What are the barriers to entry in the DLT-based TrueBlock platform? Do telecoms enjoy any national advantage? Where do competitors to TrueBlock stand in terms of factors that drive adoption and engagement through such platforms?
Okay, thank you. It's a good question. TRA, Indian Telecom Regulator, came with TCP/IP regulation in 2018. Okay, and we are the first Indian company to develop and deploy with various telcos. We have deployed with 5 out of 7 telcos. In fact, we have been ready with the DLT platform from 2019 February. We launched this DLT platform in Barcelona. Mr. R.S. Sharma, the then chairman, has launched this platform. So we're much ahead of the curve. We don't follow the curve. We're much ahead of the curve, and so And we enjoy more than 60% of the market share as we speak. The reason being is very simple, right? Okay, we have tremendous domain knowledge. We understand the telco environment very well. We understand the enterprise space very well. Okay, so once we have the domain knowledge, we know how to build the solutions around that. We know how to work with the complete ecosystem, whether it is enterprises or the telcos or even to understand the regulations and implement like. Okay, so that's how we have gained the first mover advantage. We saw an opportunity, we jumped into the then took the opportunity, and this is the first of its kind in the world, in the sense like no telco has rolled out the blockchain enabled platform in the world. This is the first of its kind in the world, and this was completely developed in-house, right? So, and this is a consortium between the three large DLT providers, between IBM, Tech Mahindra, and Tanla. IBM is deployed with half of the I mean, they are deployed with the Airtel. We also deployed with Airtel, so we coexist with Airtel. And Tech Mahindra is deployed with Jio, and whereas we deployed with the rest of the telcos. Like so, yes, as you speak, we enjoy more than 60%. We have been pretty consistent from the day one till date. So we are pretty agile. In fact, the core module has been went live in the last 6 to 7 months, and we are the first one to help the telcos or even mainly enterprises to comply with the regulations. If you look at our enterprise profile, most of the large enterprises in India, more than 30,000 enterprises have onboarded on our platform. It shows how committed to the regulations, and in fact, as we speak, the regulators are pushing us to comply with consent management. We are pretty. In fact, we have been ready with the consent management module for quite some time. When we go with consent management module live, I think we have every opportunity to gain some more market. So I don't see any issue with deployment. The reason is we have been deploying our platforms with the telcos for more than 2 decades. So once it's difficult to get into a telco environment. Like, okay, they have very, very stringent security norms. Like, it's very, very difficult to get into the telco environment. Once you are there with the telcos, we are there for I don't say it's the rest of the life, but we are there for quite some time. Okay, so I don't see any challenge there. We are pretty established in this market. We are pretty established not only with technology, but with the compliance and so on and so forth. So I don't see any challenge. We are pretty excited about this DLT platform. In fact, it is qualified under GRC, which is a governance and regulatory compliance framework. In fact, most of the regulators from the global market are looking at this regulations very closely. In fact, UAE regulator is the second one to adopt these regulations, and that's where we won hands down. We competed with the largest players in the world, and we won both the telcos. In fact, the deployment we have been deploying for quite some time, and it should go live in the next month or so. So we are really enjoying the way we have built the platform in terms of the competency. So I don't see any challenge, and we are here to grow our market share in TLT.
Thank you, Uday. The next question is from Kawaljeet Saluja from Kotak Securities. He has 2 questions. Can you detail economics per usage for SMS, emails, and WhatsApp? Also, can you talk about Tanla's strength in conversational solutions? And the second question is, how do you see competitive change, especially with Twilio's acquisition with Value First?
So, Kamaljeet, it's a good question. In fact, if I'm allowed to say, we have been working with Value First for more than 15 years, and for our domestic traffic. And they do use our platform. As we speak, they have been using our platform. Even Twilio use our platform for global messaging. The messages which are being terminated in India, they do use our platforms. I don't see any challenge. Our biggest strength of Tanla over a period of time is we always partner with various people, with the various ecosystem players. Okay, so we have been working with Karix competitors for almost 30 months. We don't see any challenge. Our biggest strength, as I told you earlier, we work with the entire ecosystem, right, from aggregators to enterprises to telcos and to the regulators. Like, that's our biggest strength. Like, so I don't see any challenge over there. We always partner with aggregators. Most of the aggregators use our platforms. They always look for someone like Tanla who can offer better QoS, and I don't see any challenge with Twilio acquiring ValueFirst. I don't see I see no challenge there. So in terms of the market, in general, SMS is a large market, very, very large market, not only in India but global market. But when it comes to Indian market, we see around 80% is always with SMS market. Then of course right now 10% is with the DLT. So that put together is 90%. Remaining 10% is always shared among WhatsApp, email, and push notification like. So SMS being whether it is NLD or ILD, they still command not only in Indian market but globally. They most of the enterprises would like to use SMS. Even I don't want to pick up some of the large players in this market, but if you look at their even revenue breakup, like most of the revenues do come from SMS. Okay, so the OTT as you speak is picking up. There is no doubt about that, but there is a long way to go. That's what my personal view.
Thank you Uday. The next question is from Monit Vyas from MK Shares. How do you plan to expand your presence internationally? Can you provide some insights with respect to our strategy there?
As I mentioned in my presentation, like we are pretty clear. Now we have built one platform strategy, which is Wisely. This platform is built along with Microsoft. Microsoft play 3 roles over there. They are our technology partners, meaning to say that they developed a platform for us. So we own the IP, we own business, but they are the one we bring in tremendous domain knowledge. And but Microsoft global team has helped us build this platform for us. So one is a technology partner, and 2 is the entire the Wisely platform is hosted on Azure Stack. Okay, so they are our second, they are our cloud partner, and the third one is they are our GTM partner. So there is a long way to go. We just launched on 20th of this year. We see massive traction in Indian market. A lot of large banks are already onboarded. In fact, we played one bank, one AU bank video. They're very happy, and a lot of large banks are already onboarded. And who doesn't like data security, data privacy? Okay, right? Everybody likes data security, data privacy. If you look at the international regulator, if you look at the international CPaaS players, okay, or any regulation, like, okay, everybody is talking about data security, data privacy. And we saw an opportunity almost a year ago, and we grabbed it. In fact, when we are launching TrueBlock, we are busy developing Wisely, because TrueBlock has not really addressed data security, data privacy. It was addressing only mainly the spam and fraud. We saw the opportunity and we grabbed it. Like, we were the first one to identify the opportunity. We developed along with Microsoft, and all our enterprises are extremely happy. In fact, telcos are extremely happy. Okay, so we are pretty clear in terms of global expansion. The Wisely will be launched globally very soon. We have tested this platform in India with the telcos, both from the scalability and also from the user experience. We've been using for almost 5 months, and the platform is really holding, and it's really scaled. So we have tested user experience, we have tested scale now, and we're all set to take this platform to the global. As we speak, in fact, we are setting up in the global environment, and so we are pretty excited. In fact, pretty excited. And 2021-22 is a year of expansion for us, and we are going to global with only one platform strategy. So we have the Karix, Gamooga, and Tanla. All three will be combined. They are going to be on this platform. In fact, the way we build the platform is Gamooga comes from the data point of view, Karix comes from the solutions point of view, and we are the platform providers. So the Karix is good at building the solutions for the enterprises. They have been building for last 2 decades, and they will be building the Karix team and the solutions team will be building solutions on the Wisely platform. And Wisely platform has got two the module, which is one is the AI module, which is driven by the Gamooga team, and the CPaaS platform, which is driven by the Tanla core DNA. So yes, to answer your question, we are pretty excited to look at $47 billion opportunity by 2023, and we will be going to the international market probably from July onwards. So we're all set to go live in Dubai. We're also looking at a couple of large markets, but as and when we decide, we'll definitely inform the exchanges and all of you.
Thank you, Uday. The next question is from Balaji, IIFL. What is the progress on Wisely rollout? And can you explain in detail little features about this Wisely?
I think Balaji, I think I have already covered this point, but all I'm saying is now, if you look at any enterprise, okay, they don't need to deploy. They don't need to deploy different platforms. One API. With one API, they have access to data channels. They have access to CPaaS channel. Okay, when it's a CPaaS, whether it is SMS, email, push notification, WhatsApp, any channel. Okay, so one platform strategy, one API, many channels, and many suppliers. Okay, in fact, once they onboard on Wisely, they get to see many suppliers. Like, okay, it is something like that. When I launched Wisely in sometime in January of this year, I made it very clear we're going to overrise this CPaaS market. Meaning to say that, like, on this platform, we will have both consumers, which are enterprises. Then we have all the suppliers, including mobile carriers, email providers, or somebody who's providing push notification and so on and so forth. So it's a different ball game. If you look at the enterprises, they just need to connect with Wisely. Boom, they have access to the global market. They have access to all the channels. They can choose and pick and choose any supplier they want. So it's quite an amazing platform, and Indian enterprises, they are very thrilled to use this platform. So we had a massive we got a fantastic feedback from our enterprises in India, and so we are pretty excited.
Thank you, Uday. The next question is from Manish Poddar of Nippon India. What are the sustainable EBITDA margin for the business given integration and ramp up of revenues in different verticals?
Manish, I made it very clear in my presentation. Like, okay, if you look at our financial discipline, okay, we took the discussion to the next level. Okay, so we are growing. We have demonstrated our growth numbers. We have demonstrated our margin expansions in the last 4 years. We are very, very cautious and conscious about not only growth but about margin expansions, and we are very, very conscious about the cash accruals. Like, so in fact, Arvind is here, and his mandate is very, very clear. We are very, very cautious and conscious about the numbers, and while we are busy spending the money on the R&D, we are also very cautious about our numbers. So though I don't want to give you any forward-looking statement, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to hold the margins. So I don't see any challenge out there.
Thank you, Uday.
And to add to this question, like, if you look at a model, if you look at the one platform strategy, it's very simple, right? So we would like to be asset light. Okay, we don't want to spend too much money in terms of deployments. That's the reason we chose to move all the entire the CPaaS, mainly the Wisely platform, onto the cloud. So we don't need to really spend any money in terms of the capex. So whatever we are spending towards the development of the platform, that we capitalize it. That too, when we pay to the third party, we don't normally expense. We normally expense it off our expenses, and we don't capitalize it like. So all I'm trying to say, it's going to be very asset light model. Asset light, we have a reason to, we have every, I strongly believe that we can quickly ramp up the numbers because it's a pretty scalable, pretty scalable model, scalable platform. So I'm very excited.
Thank you, Uday. Very interesting answers. The next question is from Shaleen Kumar, UBS. Can you gain market share from competition in enterprise segment, and what are the levers for growth?
Shaleen, that's a good question again. See, our strategy is very simple. If you look at any enterprises, if you look at, for example, that's what Deepak had explained a couple of minutes ago. Okay, how good they are at in terms of building the solutions. Okay, people are. If you look at any enterprise, they are obsessed with solutioning. We cannot go and offer simple connectivity either for SMS or voice, push notification, email, WhatsApp. No. Okay, they're all bearers. They're all simple bearers, including WhatsApp. Okay, people are really excited about WhatsApp, but it is a simple bearer. Okay, it takes the communication from A to B and B to A. That's it. Okay, but what the enterprises are looking at, not only in India but global market. Okay, mainly for the last probably 15-16 months, right? They're looking for solutions. Okay, and we are the masters because our platform, the single platform strategy, okay, our team can go and build the solutions on the fly and offer to our customers. That's our biggest proposition. That's what I explained in my presentation. So this business model is pretty durable. So once we are integrated with our enterprises, once you build the solutions, so our teams are busy building the solutions one by one. And wherever we have deployed our solutions, they've been there for more than 10-12 years. Okay, so the strategy is going to be solution based on our platform. So that's the reason I have every reason to believe that we see a massive traction. Though I don't want to give you any forward looking statement, but I'm pretty excited about this one platform strategy.
Thank you. Then the next question is from Samir Raj of Nippon. Which are the global customers you have specially among for Fortune 500 companies? What is the nature of these relations, and what is the product penetration that you have with them?
Samir, very interesting question. Very interesting question. In fact, I was just looking at my numbers before I got into this call. 40% of our revenues, 40% of the revenues, all are dollar revenues. 1920, 40%, probably 39.5, something like that. 40%, right? So all these dollar revenues have come from the tech giants. You know who the tech giants are okay? I don't want to really drop the names. We have been serving these guys, serving these tech giants for more than nearly one decade.
Almost a decade now.
Yeah, 1 decade. Okay. So we have been working with them for a number of years, both from Tanla side as well as from Karix side. So when they have been happy. In fact, as we speak, we bring most of their communication to India on our NLD platform. That's what I kind of showcased in my presentation. And same tech giants have got a massive traffic outside India, right? That's where our one platform strategy and the Karix expertise is going to come into picture. So once they are happy in India, I don't see any reason why we cannot service them in the international market. They have been extremely happy with our quality services. We have been serving for more than 1 decade, and more than probably 1,000 crores come from 6-7 large tech giants in the last 1 year, probably little more than 1,000 crores. So I'm pretty excited. In fact, they have been inquiring when my one platform strategy will be up and running. So we are in constant touch with them. In fact, when we are developing Wisely, we have been in constantly touch with tech giants. we have taken the inputs before we kind of worked on the features and the user experience. So they know everything about Wisely. They have been just waiting for us to launch in the international market. So I have every reason to believe that we're going to onboard them wherever we launch our one platform going forward.
Thank you there. The next question is from Ravi Kumar of Edelweiss Finance. Hi there. In your opening remarks, you had mentioned that TAM is likely to exceed USD 47 billion over next few years. Can you give us some color on the new growth areas and how are we positioned to capture these growth opportunities?
Ravi, this number has not come from me. This has come from this has come from Gartner, right? This is what we mentioned in the presentation, right? When 23 will become $47 billion. They have released the CPaaS report probably a year ago. That's what the report says, like, okay. So one is a lot of companies, whether it is mainly medium and large companies, they are moving to digitalization. Whenever the enterprises digitalize their process, okay, they need to have the CPaaS integrate with their process. There is no doubt about that, like, okay. That is so. Whether it is medium or small enterprises, like each and every company is going towards digitalization. Digitalization is the opportunity of this decade. This is what I mentioned in my speech. The CPaaS rides on the digitalization, like, okay. So I think whether irrespective of the channels, whether it is including video, including payments, including anything, like the communication, the data. So this is in fact, when the $47 billion does not include data. Okay, $47 billion is only about the typical CPaaS market, communication market, and if we combine data, it's probably more than $100 billion. So yeah, I see a lot of opportunity with a lot of small and mainly medium and large enterprises are moving towards digitalization, and they can use our APIs to push their communication with their users.
Thank you there. The next question is from Abhishek Bhandari of Macquarie. You predominantly work in commodity SMS business. What are your plans to increase other communication modes? Peers have got huge funding and even global competition has entered India. So how are you looking at the competitive landscape?
Abhishek, yes, as you rightly said, like, this market has witnessed massive, funding in the last probably 6 to 8 months. At least 4 large players were acquired by we acquired Karix, which is the largest enterprise software company from Blackstone 2 years ago, and a couple of large CPaaS players in the international market, Twilio and Sinch they have acquired second and third aggregators in India. Yes, we are pretty excited in the sense, like, one is, let me correct you, like, we are not in commodity market. Okay, DLT is not commodity market. Okay, DLT is a blockchain which is very, very complex platform, which took almost nearly 2 years for us to build this platform. Once the DLT platform is not only for SMS but also for voice going forward. We don't know what are all the TRAI is going to bring in as a channel on this platform, but as of today, they mandated telcos to use this platform for both SMS and voice. It is not a commodity market. Otherwise, we wouldn't be serving the large enterprises, as Deepak mentioned, that, like, we have been the Karix have been serving ICICI Bank, have been serving from 2001, State Bank of India for more than 1 decade. Had it been so commodity market, they would have replaced us quite some time back, like. So it's more of solutioning, like. So as I told you earlier, all these are bearers: SMS, email, push notification, WhatsApp. They're all bearers, like. What really matters is solutioning, like. That's what we have been doing for ages, but now we but we have really scaled up in the last 16, 17 months, or probably 2 years. Once the Karix and Tanla are tightly integrated, and we are pushing all the Karix solutions onto on our platforms. So that's where we see a lot of synergy between Karix and Tanla. So that's where we are excited.
Thank you. Very interesting answer. The next question is from Nevi Investment and Management Advisors. Considering we're a huge cash flow positive, are we looking to buy companies to grow at a faster pace as compared to competition?
Yes, yes. Like as you speak, like we have around 585 crores balance on 31st March, and we are adding massive cash. Every month, every quarter. But we have, as I told you earlier, like we're very financially. We're very cautious about financials. Like, okay. So if you look at our last 2 years history, we acquired 2 companies, one from Blackstone, other one is Gamuka from the founder, and that's where we kind of paid 250 crores towards acquisitions, and again we used around 185 crores towards a buyback and dividend. So very capital allocation is we are good at the capital allocation. If you look at our history of the last couple of years, we are not here to acquire any company for a numbers. We are pretty clear. This is what I told Arvind in the beginning itself. We don't want to acquire any company for numbers. We are very clear about that. Like, we want to buy the company we would like to look at the bolt-on acquisitions, meaning to say that, like, no, we will look at companies which are predominantly strong on technology, which will compensate our one platform strategy. So yes, we always look for opportunities as and when we find interesting technology companies which can go on to our platform. Our platform has got a very clean and neat architecture, and I don't want anybody to meddle with our own platform strategy. So as and when we find any interesting company in terms of technology space, yes, we will definitely acquire companies. So yes, we have our own plans. We need money for expansions. So that is that's where we made it a lot of cash. And third area is, like, we are fully committed to one platform strategy. Like, that's where Microsoft and us have been working very closely on this platform. And we have a clear roadmap for the next 1 year for Wisely. So we need the money for platforms, to build the platforms and products. Second one is expansion plans, and third one is whenever we see a good acquisition, we are for it.
Thank you. Very interesting answer there. The next question is from Bhupender Tiwari of ICICI Direct. Can you talk about your global competitiveness? What separates you from them, especially Twilio?
Thank you. At least you have been. Twilio is. We have a huge respect for Twilio. They are the industry market leaders. I think they are probably $65 billion company. They are predominantly offering APIs to app developers, whereas we are offering our APIs to enterprises. Like, okay, so they are good at servicing app developers, and we are good at servicing enterprises. Like, so yes, we love to work with our I don't want to use the word competitors, but yes, we would like to work with them. They would like to work with us. We have been working with them. They have been working with us. So sometimes we compete, sometimes we work together. So I don't see any challenge out there. We have our own we have our own strengths. They have their own strengths. Like, so we are pretty excited about the global opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question is from Darshan Engineer of SBI Cap Securities. What is the government business like in terms of profitability and overall returns? And what is the share in our overall revenues? Does the business get bid out every year or at fixed intervals?
Sorry, fixed?
Does it get bid out every year or at fixed intervals?
No, it is a transactional business, like, so the Karix have been serving Government of India through NIC for last 7 years.
7 years.
7 years, like, it's a long-term contract. It's not it's a long-term contract, and it's not fixed fee. It is a transactional business. So the Karix do work with the NIC on various channels, including different channels. So, and so we have the rate card, and I cannot really give you my margin percentage, but we are very happy about our margins. We have been doing business for last 6 years, and we are very excited about the opportunity. We have opportunity to work with different departments, different opportunity to serve our citizens. So that's where we get a lot of kick out of the whole thing. Like we are the one who drove the vaccination and a couple of other large projects for the last 6-7 years. But we are very happy about our engagement with the Government of India through NIC, and I don't see any problem.
Thank you. The next question is from Amit Vora of PCS Securities. What is the opportunity size of Trubloq in the international market? Do we have any right to play in those markets?
They have right to play?
In those markets.
So, Amit, it's a good question. In fact, I would like to call Trubloq, the DLT platform, as a GRC, a governance and regulatory compliance platform, right? Okay, because this platform is completely driven by the Indian telecom regulator, TRAI, in India, right? And so as TRA in UAE market. So, I think the challenges that we have been facing in India are the same in UAE. Okay, spam and fraud, and probably beyond that. Okay, the challenges are the same in each and every country. Probably in most advanced countries like US and most of the European countries have got the similar problem. You go and little bit Google it, like we have the similar problems like. So this if the regulator decides to implement the GRC platform, which is nothing but DLT platform, which is mainly on the blockchain, and that's where we see a lot of opportunity, because now we have implemented in very large market, very complicated market in terms of the size, and then in terms of the transactions, in terms of enterprises, and so on and so forth. We learned the art in the last 2 years. We have been serving, we have been working with telcos, enterprises, and the regulators, and we have, as we speak, we have been deploying with Dubai. So I'm not the one who is going to decide I'm not the one who is going to decide when the regulators are going to implement GRC platform. But if you ask me personally, that's what the whole world is moving. Okay, who doesn't want data security? Who doesn't want data privacy? Who wants to receive spam and fraud? Like nobody wants to receive spam messages, right? So we are betting on the platform. We have been enriching this platform for the last 1 year. We have gained a massive expertise in the last 1.5 year. So I think we have a clear edge as and when we see the opportunities with the global market. I think we see ourselves in good position.
Thank you. The next question is from Saurabh Jain, E4S. What has changed in last 1 year that has led to such a turnaround in business performance?
So, this is not the question of last 1 year. That is what demonstrated our numbers. If you look at our story for the last 5 years, okay, nothing is accidental. Let's be very clear here. Okay, it may appear as accidental. It is absolutely not, right? So we see the opportunity. In fact, we have been for the last 20 years. We have been working with only telcos. That's where we build our domain knowledge in terms of handling the platforms. But what we realized is, okay, we would like for us to offer our services to our solutions to enterprises, like, okay, we need to have a play in that space. That's how we end up acquiring Karix, which is the largest aggregator in India. They have 30% plus market share, a very undisputed market. They have been in the market for the last 2 decades, and they are the undisputed market leader. And so we decided to acquire the company, so that our strategy is to close the loop from operator to mobile carrier to enterprises. Like that's the first thing. That's where I end up acquiring this company. That's where we went right. This is one of the most successful acquisitions that we saw in this space. So the reason why it is very successful acquisition is one of the reasons could be, in fact, Deepak and Deepak's team and our team, in the sense like Tanla's team, like they have been working together for last probably 15 years. Like they know each other for the last 15 years. Carex have been using our platform for more than 1.5 decade. So we understand their culture, they understand our culture, and both the companies decided to work together. And that is the one, that's the one trigger that if I have to qualify, like that's number one, right? Number two, since now we understand the enterprise's needs, right? Thanks to again Carex team, they have been keep coming back and keep challenging our product team. So they come out with a lot of solutions. Like since we are in control of the platforms, that's how we could have turned around the entire story. In the sense, like we saw the DLT opportunity through Carex, we jumped it, we built the DLT platform, and we helped the Carex enterprises to comply with it, like, right? So acquisition, which is Carex, the two is innovation. Like back to back, we launched two platforms. One is TrueBlock, which is a massive success, and Wisely, again, one more massive success in the last 1 year. So innovation and acquisition, like it. So it's not accidental. Let me repeat again. We have been judicially following our strategy. We have been implementing day in, day out. In fact, if you look at our board members, we have strengthened our board in the last 4 or 5 years. We have massive guidance from the board. They are the industry leaders on the board. Then we strengthened our audit process. We brought in the best of the auditors in India. We have the internal auditors in the sense like the Deloitte, BDO, and also KPMG is our pre-auditors. So we have been addressing from all the angles, right, from the governance to the innovation to the customer success, like. So it is not accidental. I'm sorry, it's not 1 year. It was a 5 years relentless journey, and we see this. We see the success. And if you look at our conference, in terms of the working with the large telcos, large enterprises, and the regulators, we are in different ball game now. So it's not 1 year. It's probably more than 5 years.
Thank you there. The next question is from Radhakrishna of Winfo. How do you foresee the risk associated with telecom industry consolidation in India, and they want to improve their revenues and they want to venture into vast areas directly?
Rather, like this is good question. In fact, most of the time we partner with the telcos. We partner with each and every telco in India. Sometimes we end up competing with them, but most of the time we partner with the telcos. So we have our own strength. The biggest strength is the Carex. Carex has got a massive proposition with the enterprises. Like they have been serving for more than 2 decades. That's our biggest strength. So we have a very captive business with the enterprises. Okay, for now, you just name any enterprise in India. Okay, they have been with Carex. Okay, so once the Carex is on our side, right? So we have the captive business. Like so. Again, we see telcos are our partners. They are more of our suppliers rather than anything else. So as long as we have the consumers on our side, okay, it becomes a little easy for me to work with any suppliers, including mobile carriers, or it could be WhatsApp suppliers, or it could be any channel suppliers. It could be email supplier. Doesn't really matter. So that's where our strength lies.
Thank you there. The next question is from Abhishek Bhandari of Macquarie. Do you think there is a merit in going the developer API way like Twilio, or you would want to prefer to remain the enterprise segment? What are the advantages and disadvantages?
So as I told you earlier, like we have been serving the enterprises. Like that's where we build massive domain knowledge. But we see a lot of opportunity within enterprises. Like I'm not trying to say that we will not look at the developer space. But as on today, we are busy serving our customers. We see a massive opportunity with enterprises. Like probably in future we may, I don't know, as on today, but we are very happy serving our customers. So we have a massive opportunity. So I don't want to miss that opportunity.
Thank you. The next question is from Mithun of Kishwa Advisors. How sustainable are the margins in this business? What are the entry barriers? Can telecom players themselves also enter this space?
See, we've been consistently demonstrating our margin expansions, like quarter on quarter, probably for more than 2 years. Like, so our margins are expanding. The reason is very simple, right? It's the way I explained in my example, like, okay, if you look at any transaction, like okay, you think about a banking transaction, or you think about any food app transaction, right? Okay, from enterprises. From enterprises to the time it reaches the mobile users. Okay, it will touch minimum 4 to 5 touch points. Okay, it starts with AI platform, which is developed by Gamuga. That's where the communication kick starts. Then that's the first the touch point. Then secondly, it moves to the Karix, because Karix owns that account. Again, it will touch the Karix account. And the third one is it will touch our GRC platform, which is a DLT platform. That's the third touch point. And the fourth touch point is our SMSE or any other platform, like whether it could be voice or it could be email or push notification, any platform, like, right? And also conversation platform. If you look at this transaction, like, okay, right? This particular notification touches more than 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 5 also. Okay, in fact, more than 50% of the transactions that we handle, right, touch more than 3 times on our platform. So whenever they touch our platform, that means we are bringing some value addition to our users, our enterprise, like, okay. So if you look at the reason why our margins are expanded pretty well in the last couple of years, because we offer end-to-end, right? So once the Gamuga integrates with the company, enterprise, that means the Karix integrate with the platform. Once the Karix is integrated with the platform, the Karix APIs are integrated with our Tanla platform, right? So it's kind of once we land in any account, we expand, we grow. That's what Deepak has explained in his presentation, like, okay. That's the reason, like, because of this, our margins are expanding, right? Okay, so I'm not pretty obsessed with the revenues, and I want to be very clear today. What you need to understand here is whether you want to book the value of the transaction, which is around, assuming that, like, in this example, probably 13 paisa is one example, one transaction, like, do you want to book the 13 paisa as your revenues, or the revenue share on your 13 paisa? Okay, if you book 20-25% is your share, okay, so you end up booking only 2.5 paisa. You don't book in 13 paisa, like, okay. So that's the reason, like, our margins are expanding in the last two years. So one is this model brings 2 things. One is stability across the ecosystem, and stickiness with the customer. And third one is our opportunity to service. Opportunity to add the value addition to the enterprises at the various levels, and that's where we make the money. Probably we make, if I'm allowed to say in this forum, like, so we make probably 4 times on one single transaction, like, okay, right? So probably our competitors makes only once, but we make 4 times. So if you have to, if that helps you to understand this the flow.
Thank you there. The next question is from Swapnil from JMFL. Can you help us understand the unit economics for Wisely, and if there is any revenue share with Microsoft?
Swapnil is a good question. We are pretty clear. So the arrangement with Microsoft is they are our cloud partner, they are our technology partner, they are our GTM partner. So when we go to the customer, right? So Tanla as a platform owner, which is Wisely owner, we charge on or per transaction, like. Sometimes we work on subscription model, sometimes we work on transaction model, like, which we are still figuring out in India before we launch in the international market. So that's number one. But we don't share any revenue share with the Microsoft. Let's be very, very clear about it, like, right? But why Microsoft is interested to drive this product is very simple, because our platforms are hosted on the Azure stack, which is a global stack. That's number one. So whenever we that means we end up burning their cloud. Okay, so it's going to be win-win situation. Like, one is whenever we transact, This is going to help them burn the cloud, number one. Number two is they have an opportunity to onboard our client on their cloud, right? So it's win-win situation for both of us. To answer your question, like, no, we don't share any revenue share with Microsoft, so they have their own agreement and we have our own agreement with enterprises.
Thank you. The next question is from Katri Kayan of Suhas Advisors. When do you expect RCS to be launched in India? Second question is price sensitivity of customers in context to SMS or WhatsApp.
In terms of RCS, I think I'm not the right person, but having said that, I think the telcos are testing the platform, probably, and we are also, I mean, the biggest challenge I see with the RCS is the reach. Okay, they cannot reach in each and every mobile handset in India. They can reach only the Android handsets. That's number one. Number two, they also reach particular kind of handset in India. They cannot reach. So if you look at one of the telcos, which I don't want to drop the name here, I don't think they can reach more than 15 million user base in the network. But RCS is a phenomenal technology, and it brings a lot of fantastic experience to the users. But when it comes to revenues, I don't think it's going to generate more than probably 1% revenues of the CPaaS in the Indian market. So it's going to be one more channel. But as and when we launched, we will be one of the first companies to use that channel in India and outside India.
Thank you there. The next question is from Pranav from Edelweiss. What is the product roadmap and any areas where the company will require investment and acquisition?
Pranav, like, as I told you earlier, like, we are very, very clear. We are a platforms company. We have a massive roadmap for the, in fact, our product team is busy launching the releases. Every week we have release. So we this is ever ending. Like, we keep launching our products on platforms. We'll keep launching our solutions. So any platform company, they have to keep the augmenting the capacities or the features like. So we have a massive roadmap, and we are working with Microsoft, and we have defined our roadmap for the next at least for 6 months. I think probably our team is also are lining up roadmap for the next 1 year. But I'm more worried about my releases in the next couple of months. So yes. As and when we find any acquisitions, like, the acquisition which can help us improve the capabilities on our one platform strategy, we are more than happy to look at any company in this space.
Thank you there. The next question is for Deepak from Anil Sareen from Centrum Wealth Management. How do you see rollout of similar business in Karix in a new global market? Which regions will you focus on entering once you decide to go international?
Hello Anilji. So as Uday mentioned, right, we will have a one platform strategy for international markets, and it's going to be Wisely. So we will be building our solutions on Wisely. So whether it is Gamooga, whether it's Karix or it's Tanla, everything is going to be on Wisely. And as we mentioned earlier, Wisely is providing data privacy and data security. This is one of its kind platform in the world, right? And which no one has. And this is what everybody wants. So we are very excited to enter into global markets with this. And to start with, as we are, we already won 2 contracts with Du and Etisalat in UAE for our Trubloq. So it is very obvious that UAE is our, UAE is the market. We have already, in fact, started acquiring customers there, and UAE is the market where we are going to, we are very, very excited about in the near term. But from near to, but you would hear more as we, about the newer geographies in next couple of months.
Thank you, Deepak. The next question is for Arvind. How do you see that you would be maintaining the current margins that the company has going forward?
So I think Uday kind of talked about it in detail, but just to kind of talk about the key points here, I think one is clearly our platform strategy, right? We've seen that our platform business operates at significantly superior gross margins to the enterprise business, and we kind of been consistently increasing our share of our platform business. Platform business gross margins contributed about 20% of the overall gross margins in FY20, which moved to 24% in FY21. And the platform business gross margins grew by 80% YOY in the last year. And I think if you kind of looked at the entire conversation today, the big theme for us is to be much more a platform company, right? And we are going across the globe with our one platform strategy. So that's going to be something which is going to be a huge lever for us from a profitability perspective. Obviously, we maintain all our discipline in terms of driving solutioning with the enterprises, which is always, a good means of driving profitability. But broadly within this, I think we have levers, given our scale, given the kind of innovation that we do to, maintain our profitability.
Thank you, Arvind. This will be the last question for the evening. This question is from Milind Karwarkar of Dalal and Baruch. I do understand that India has a very large opportunity and it is yet to be exploited, but so is the global opportunity. With Wisely, what kind of opportunity do you see in the global front?
Milind, we are very, very clear. Our path is very clear. Our path forward is very, very clear. We are going ahead with one platform strategy, and we are not here to rip and replace our legacy vendors. We want to, in fact, reduce the competitiveness with our competitors, the competitive friction with the competitors. We are in greenfield opportunity, and we are pretty excited. In fact, with the one platform strategy, we would like to create our own opportunity in the global market. So we are pretty excited. Anyway, we're going to talk for a period of time. You will see how the one platform strategy, which is a Wisely platform, is going to unfold in the coming months. Thanks, Milind. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. That was the last question for today. In case we could not take your questions due to time constraint, please feel free to reach out to our investor relations team. I will now hand it over to Uday for closing remarks.
I really enjoyed engaging Q&A session. Thank you, Ritu, Deepak, and Arvind for joining me today at this meet. Let me assure you, we are not here for quick wins. We want to build a great platform company. We want to build a long-lasting value. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your trust in Tanla.